Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So I don't usually do this. Usually I just screenshot the webpage, but this time I'm actually going to record as we're on the main webpage. So this is the site here. This is the Winds of Change site, and as you can see, this is the thing we read at the start of the first episode. I was actually meaning to read more of this sooner, but I guess I got caught up doing other stuff. Today, before we start the episode, we're going to be reading this section here, which is the timeline section. There is some other stuff here. I don't want to hover the mouse. I guess I'm going to kind of have to, aren't I? But if you see there, there's all of these characters up here. Those will be characters that are introduced later on. When this webpage actually first came out, those characters up there were just silhouettes, and they were like question marks, and nobody knew who the characters were or what was going on. And as the chapters came out, they were slowly revealed. Obviously, I can't show you that anymore. I can just show you the end. So I guess they're kind of minor spoilers, I guess. When Winds of Change was first coming out, we didn't know everything about the plot. Now you can kind of go on the website and read different quotes from different characters and stuff. But what I want to read in particular, and I'm going to zoom in a bit so we don't spoil some later stuff, is, this timeline section. So this is the next bit, and we can just read on. It is marked in the Canthan calendar, of course, as you would expect in Cantha. I really feel like I should learn the Canthan calendar. It's a little bit like New Crichton. Like, before the game launches, I need to learn more New Crichton. I know pretty much all the vowels in New Crichton, but I can't read much else past that. But yeah, so this is the Canthan calendar. It starts with 1382 CC. Immediately from that, I can tell you exactly what was happening there. But if you read on the right, it gives you a description. It says, right, so this was when the Jade Wind happened. After murdering Emperor Angsayang, Shiro Togachi is slain in the Harvest Temple. This is what the Factions trailer was, pretty much, if you remember. I love those trailers. I was kind of hoping, in a weird way, that Guild Wars 2 would have a CGI trailer as well, but they never ended up doing it. I'm not that bummed out about it, because I do think they're a bit of a waste of money. But yeah, so this was the Factions trailer. Shiro's death unleashes the Jade Wind, radically altering the landscape of Cantha. Although the effects of the Jade Wind were immediate and far-reaching, the true horror of Shiro's evil would not be felt for another 200 years, which was, of course, during the campaign itself. I like to come back to this as well. We talked about it a little bit in Factions. That was 200 years, right? The difference from then to Factions. And Guild Wars 2, it's only 250 years, so that's a really big jump, really. If you think of how much Tyria's changed from Guild Wars 1 to Guild Wars 2, and then consider how much it could have changed from Factions to when the Jade Wind first happened, it's really, really quite interesting. But yeah, so then we can jump forward to 1390 of the Canthan calendar, which is marked as tension with the Tengu. Tension rises between the good people of Cantha and the Tengu. While Emperor Hanjai's ambassador is able to avoid open war with the Angchu, the Sansali declare them traitors and foolishly continue their acts of aggression. A lot of this stuff here, there's a huge article. I mentioned it right at the end of the Factions Let's Play. I think it's in the description, linked there actually. A huge article of like loads of Canthan history that's just not gone into actually in-game, and I think some of that kind of comes through here as well. We go forward a few more years, actually a lot more years, 200 years. To 1527 of the Canthan calendar, marked division in Cantha. Which says, the Luxons and Kurziks cease regular diplomatic contact, communicating with each other only through liaisons of the Celestial Ministry when absolutely necessary. To this day, they remain more focused on their petty squabbles than on the problems that continue to destroy their lands from within. They mentioned the Celestial Ministry. I'll actually have to talk about that a little bit more when we get in game. We've also got 1581. The Tengu Wars end. After 191 years of hostility, the Tengu Wars are finally brought to an end. Here, this is a screenshot of the bonus mission pack where you actually get to play as Togo. That's actually from there. We Let's Play that, of course. I think that was the second to last episode. Very cool. In fact, I named that episode The End of Wars. And yes, that was the end of the wars. So now we're in 1582. We're getting very close to Factions timeline. Shiro the Betrayer returns to Cantha, bringing with him the Plague of the Afflicted. Though the Betrayer is stopped, the plague persists in Cantha. Countless lives are lost, from the families of good people forced to live in the streets to prominent families like the Udachi, head of the Sailing Order. Ashu Udachi survives the slaughter under miraculous conditions and comes into the care of his aunt, Reiku Murakami. Oh, should I really be reading this out? Alright, so we're getting into Winds of Change, new lore now. Okay, there's lots of stuff about this family that we'll be learning as we go through. I think when Winds of Change first came out, we couldn't see this timeline, I think. And there's a lot of encounters, as I've mentioned, sort of hidden away encounters that we'll be seeing as we go through this Let's Play, and it will shed more light on this stuff. But then we go 1583, so this is Nightfall's year. Reiko, then a member of the Ministry of Flame, makes her first strides towards rallying the people of Cantha to fight back against the afflicted. With Ashua aside as a symbol of hope, her message resonates with her people. Little by little, Canthans begin to take their fate into their own hands. So this is something as well, actually. We've been talking about the Ministry of Purity, this new ministry that's formed. There are actually 4 original ministries, if you remember, the Flame, Earth, Water, and so forth. They actually have no role to play in Winds of Change, which is a real shame. I think that's the only time they're mentioned, which is a real shame. I was hoping there'd be more, but there's not much exposition on them. Alright, 1584, these are the interim years between Nightfall and Eye of the North. Reiku begins to rise in the ranks of the Ministry of Flame, as she and Ashu become renowned public figures. They speak more often with the people of Cantha, offering the promise of change and a hope for a better future free of the affliction. If it's too spoilery now, I'm just going to cut out the rest. But okay, 1586, descent in the Ministry of Flame. Reiku becomes increasingly dissatisfied with the restrictions of the Ministry of Flame, finding flaws in the system, the needless bureaucracy, political maneuverings, and personal agendas. She comes to the realization that something greater needs to happen if Cantha is ever going to be able to move forward. 87. This is Eye of the North now. It must be. I think there was only 3 years between Nightfall and Eye of the North. Reiku officially established the Ministry of Purity with Ashu as a central figure. The Ministry of Purity makes dealing with that which harms Cantha its goal, to take action when all other branches of government are content to turn a blind eye, pass the issues off as the Emperor's problem, or fault the other ministries. Okay, 1589, the purification of Cantha. The Ministry of Purity begins in earnest its campaign to finally rid Cantha of the afflicted. Brave men and women rally to their cause, eager to make their homes safe once more. The fight continues, and the Ministry of Purity welcomes all those with the heart and the will to join them. So that's kind of us joining in. 1590 of the Canthan calendar. This year must be, by the way, Warring Kreiter, of course, in 87. Oh no, that must be Warring Kreiter in 87. Hearts of the North, same year, maybe the start of 89 here. And now we're in 1590 of the Canthan calendar, which must be where we join the picture. Sweeping social reform. In the months that follow the Ministry of Purity's campaign against the afflicted, Cantha has been blessed with renewed vigour and prosperity. Okay, alright, this last one actually here, sweeping social reform, that's actually a bit spoilery. I'm not going to read that one out. We'll read that one out later. Because, like I said, this I think was added after, like, maybe when Chapter 2 came out or something, so it's kind of spoilery, I think. But okay, so we've had some weird hints, some stuff about a few new characters, something about a family, not particularly clear right now. If you thought about it enough, you probably could figure it out in your own head right now, but I'm not going to do that because it will come forward way later. So yeah, there you go. That's that bit of the website. We'll go back to the website at other points during the Let's Play. Let's get into the game. Jesus, 8 minutes? What? I hope the next quest's a short one. Right, I'll see you guys in game. Right, is Audacity on? Yes, it is. It's on. Oh, thank God. Hi guys, and welcome to another video. I feel like every time I log in, even though we're 8 minutes into the video, I have to say that, even though we've just come in. Yeah, so Audacity is on. I'm not going to cock this up this time. Let's get on with the quest. I didn't kind of plan to be talking so long there. I don't know, maybe stuff will be cut out. But yeah, so let's move on. Hope you guys are having a good day. It's been a good day for the community. I will talk about it. As I'm sure if you're watching this, you know what I'm about to talk about. But we'll say it when we actually get into the quest. Hey, Zayri. Hard mode only. I love that little cue. It makes me remember to actually put it on hard mode. I guarantee before we finish playing Winds of Change, I'm going to forget to go in hard mode. At least at some point. It's just going to happen. Unless I stick to my plan of one quest a video. But again, we'll talk about that later. Reports of afflicted within Kaineng are dwindling every day. Hooray! People are beginning to see the benefits of our work, and more people are rallying to join our cause. It's amazing, isn't it? There's an infectious quality moving forward that people just get swept up by. No offense to a great hero such as yourself, but I welcome the time when people won't rely on lone saviors to solve their troubles. They'll tackle problems themselves. So there you go, you can see this coming forward a bit more. What do you say we continue to fight the good fight and deal with the afflicted in the undersea? They just kind of throw that there. I think they've kind of established what's going on now, and they don't really make excuses for why they're afflicted in various areas. They're just pretty much, yeah, we're going to kill the afflicted everywhere they've ever been. Right, yeah, let's continue. I've had all the afflicted I can handle for the moment. No, well, we're going to be handling a lot more. Yeah, let's go through the Undercity. I don't remember. That is a serious problem of mine, pressing N. I always feel like I need to get rid of it as well really quickly because I don't want people like spying on like the friends list. Really, because this is Tom Bluewood here, guys. Like, I actually can still add friends to this account. If you've ever contacted me in game, I used to add everyone. I'd be like, so that I could remember who I'd spoken to. I could just check my friends list and be like, oh yeah, I've spoken to you before in game. But that one filled up a long time ago, and I've been telling people that I can't kind of add them anymore. This account I still can though. So if you do contact me on Tom Bluewood, I can probably add you there. But yeah, what was I saying? I was in the middle of saying something. Yeah, with the Undercity, I can't quite remember what we were doing here. I think it is a reasonably short one. I'm going for the wrong area. What the hell am I doing? Oh yeah, also, Magical Mike pronounced this the other day. He said Zakwang Skyway. I always said it in the original Factions campaign, Zhangwang Skyway. I don't know, maybe I just kind of read it that way. It's one of those things, and it happened a lot in Factions, and hell, it happened everywhere, let's be honest. I always pronounce things wrong. But yeah, Zakwang Skyway. I'll try and say that a little bit more often. I might actually cut this till we're in the Undercity. I don't know, it's going to be a bit of a boring walk getting there if you remember rightly. Actually, hold on, did we ever finish that quest chain, the Chalice of Corruption quest chain? Do you remember where we were afflicted as we played through Factions, and it made all of the Amphair here allied? It's actually quite nice to have that on you, because it makes getting to the Undercity really, really easy during this quest. Or any quest, if you ever need to get to the Undercity, if you're at that point where all the Amphair are your friends, it's really not going to matter, because they'll just be allied to you and you don't have to fight anyone as you go through. We are still in hard mode, aren't we? Yeah, so never mind cutting it. One thing happened today. Yeah, do you guys know what happened today? It's weird. I'm kind of shitting myself more and more as these things come out. So we had beta sign up, we've had a closed beta, we've had a press beta. It's all ramping up. We know about all the professions, we know about all of the races, we know about a hell of a lot of the lore, we know about all the main systems. They've talked about pretty much everything. And release is coming, and I should have expected it. I don't know, it took me completely off guard, but collector's edition stuff, it's all been announced. Actually, you can pre-purchase the game now. You can pretty much pre-order it. Generally, I've literally only just gotten from work, but I came home for lunch from work today, so I saw the news literally as it came out, and I was like, oh my god. It seems like everyone's really happy with kind of it, but I mean, here in if you're in the UK with us, this happens with games all the time. We always get a little bit screwed on pricing because the pound's worth... Can publishers please make note of this? The pound is worth more than the dollar. Can we please get things a little bit cheaper? I think our collector's edition, if we do want to get the best thing, it is a bit less in pounds than it is in dollars, but it's not as much less as it should be. So we do kind of get screwed over with the pricing. I think, I can't 100% remember, I only read it at lunch and I only read it once. I think it's like £130. Or it could be more. Is it £150? It is a lot of money. Whether you get... See, this is the thing. I'm a really big fan of the series. Would you believe it? So I feel like I should get the collector's edition. But that's a lot of money. And to be honest with you, I'm not that into like big statues and stuff that you get with collector's editions. I'm really not that into it. They just end up sitting around in my room or in some place. I mean, I don't even really like having boxes anymore. I mean, I look at what I've got in my room right now. I've got like 2 shelves that are full of games, old games, back sort of during PS1. There's some Xbox 360 stuff there, but it's mostly like PS2, PS1, and Xbox games, like, and that's it. But since then, really, where I've been playing more PC stuff, or you know, since the PS3 and the Xbox 360 allow you to download stuff, I've kind of been favouring doing that a lot more recently. I know where I should be leaving from. I'm an idiot. Yeah, no. The quickest way to do this quest, guys. I'm here already, so I'm going to keep going because it's there. But the quickest way to go is from the local quarter. Sorry, some of you have probably been screaming about that. If you go from the local quarter, you can get straight into the Undercity, and you can get there pretty quick. I personally don't really care how hard it is to get to these areas because you've only got to move around that corner there, and then you can just get going. But you can kind of work your way backwards through the quest if you go from the local quarter, so do bear that in mind if you're playing with me. That way's pretty quick, especially if for whatever reason you're struggling to get there somehow. Oh, also I was going to kick Dunkoro. Last mission went so well, and I didn't micro anything. I didn't micro Spellbreaker. I feel like now, as long as I'm just careful with the death charging in, I'll probably be alright actually. Maybe we can get rid of Dunkoro, add some more like control and some more damage, probably in the way of a Mesmer, or I might add an Ellie. I don't know. I mentioned the other episode how I'm not using Discord Way because of the changes to hard mode, where now armor ignoring damage isn't like the only way to go. You can use regular damage, and it makes me feel like I shouldn't just keep adding mesmers and stuff like I used to, because the reason why you would use them is because they had armor ignoring damage. But now that's not so important. I wonder if maybe I should try something else. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, collector's edition. I don't know, I feel like I kind of should buy the most important like collector's edition. And the only thing, it does come with a lot of stuff. It doesn't just come with this big statue, but I'm going to feel like it's a waste because it will just go on my set. I'll be like, oh, and I don't really like Gritlock that much as a character anyway. Like, he's kind of cool in the book, but the guy, who was it that wrote the second book? I can't even remember that anymore. Was it Jason King? I think was his name? Robert King. Anyway, he wrote Gritlock as quite like a jokey character. He wasn't a very serious character. Which was a good kind of part of his personality, I guess, but I don't know. He's not my favourite character, so... Well, mind you, he has got Sahothin with him, which is really awesome. So you get the sword, and I don't know whether the sword's going to be like a big separate part of the statue. If it is, that would be pretty awesome. I would quite like to have Sahothin there. That would be cool. Rurik's sword. Yeah. But anyway, that big part, that one aspect, which really, I get the feeling a lot of your money's going on if you do want to buy the collector's edition, that statue, that doesn't appeal to me that much, so... I don't know. I'll probably still get it. I'm not going to lie. I'll probably still get it. I don't get paid much at work, but I have slowly been saving up money where I've not been spending much recently either, so I should have the money to buy it. And there's something else you get. You get something called a hero band with a collector's edition. Kind of weird. What do you guys think of that? What it does, at least from the official website, if you read it, it seems like that will just give you, like, it will boost your stats. Not by much, it doesn't look like. I mean, your attributes will get quite high in that game. We're talking like hundreds in the hundreds, most of your attributes. This gives you like +2 to some of your attributes, so it's not like a massive deal. That Necromancer summoned an entire army. Christ. This is either going to go really well or really badly. See, I feel like I need Veritas Aura for this. I really do. Let's just kill the Necromancer first. Hopefully it will make all of the minions masterless. And then we'll be okay. And then the Death Nova won't screw us up. The Death Novas probably will still screw us up. Look, they're screwing me up right now. Oh my god, that was a lot of damage. So yeah, I mean, this thing, it gives you power. I do agree, a lot of people have been talking about it lately. Like, oh, don't give us early game bonuses that just give us extra power. I do agree with that mentality, because it's like, it does ruin the progression of the game. A big part, you know, people say, oh, why has Guild Wars 2 got 80 levels? It's so that you can enjoy that feeling of progressing, you know, as you play through the game. It lasts longer. And then they're kind of giving you a pre-game bonus that gives you instant stat boost straight away at the start. Oh, and I would be inclined to be like, oh no, this is terrible, and I'm sure someone will come out and say, oh, why are they doing this? This is stupid. But I think that the attributes that it seems to be offering you are so low that it's really not worth pointing out. It's just going to be a minor little thing, a nice little thing for the pre-order people. I'm not sure. Did it say that you get anything cosmetic from it? I'm going to have a look after I filmed this. If you get like some digital cosmetic thing for pre-ordering, that would be quite cool. I actually quite like those. Like Magical Mike and Guild Wars Buddy and stuff, they've started playing Star Trek Online lately. And I was considering playing it, but I'm not going to. But I was reading the wiki page. And it says on there that... for that game, people who did this, who like bought it, like pre-ordered really, really early, they actually got an exclusive race. You can play as like a Borg if you did that with Star Trek Online, which actually is pretty awesome. I think that's a pretty cool little thing. So if Guild Wars 2 does something similar, hell yeah, I'm on board with that. That's pretty cool. Oh, they're already fighting, are they? Well, let's get in there. See, this looks like 2 groups, so I'm a little bit scared. Before we continue on with all this random stuff, let's actually read out some of this dialogue, shall we? Anyone selling mini pets, please? No. Zayri, we met him. He says, what an unfortunate place the Undercity is. Yeah, do you know what? He's got a good point. This is something I like to do. There's a quest that we'll come to at the end of part 1, right? Where we go to a place quite similar to the Undercity. We have done a video there now. So anyway, we go to this place, right? And I always like when you get to places like this to look around, right? You actually look at the backgrounds and stuff that are here in Kaineng. Like, a lot of these are supposed to be houses and stuff. Like, look up here. These are supposed to be houses. It's the most bizarre thought in the world that people would actually live in a dank, horrible, dingy place like this, where the city has literally been built on top of them, and they're around with the sewage. It is really weird. I like that little bit of dialogue, because it makes you remember that. I mean, with factions, it's easy to look at the walls and be like, oh, these are supposed to be houses, but it's obviously a really, like, it's so easy to forget that that's what they're supposed to be. Like, if you guys ever played Jet Set Radio Future, I might have mentioned this in the Factions Let's Play. Not just Jet Set Radio Future, sorry, just Jet Set Radio even. That game, man, it kind of had the same style with the walls and the houses and stuff. Funnily enough, that was, kind of, I think that was based on Tokyo, actually, that area. But this place was built on based on the walled city, isn't it? Wasn't that somewhere? I can't remember where was that. It was some Asian place that it was based. Anyway, that game had the same thing going on. You would just kind of get used to seeing these as walls and not really think that they're supposed to be houses. But after a while, it then does twig. So I like that dialogue. It's cool. It makes you think of that. What else did he say? He said, before I joined the Ministry of Purity, nothing drove me except my own grief. Really? What did you have to grieve about? He says, through them, I found a purpose. I wish that the people here would do the same. And we say, well, what makes you say that? He says, look around you. Does this place look like a fitting home for any but those who had nothing else? Which is very true. And I like to think as well, when they talk about shit like that, like the Ministry of Purity, they're pretty good right now, right? I mean, they're doing something quite nice for Cantha at the moment. They're actually going to try and help build this place up, and that makes me wonder what it's going to be like come Guild Wars 2 when we do eventually come back to Kaineng. I mean, This is the thing with like doing the Guild Wars Beyond, and now we're not in Tyria anymore. It's going to be a little bit harder to sort of put into perspective for Guild Wars 2. But assumedly, eventually we are going to come back here, right? We're wiping. I think we will survive this, maybe, if we're lucky. But eventually we will come back here, and I wonder what the city will be like. It'd be really cool if it was like a kind of a futuristic, like utopia, like a metropolis, and with big white walls, and just technology's advanced so far. And you know, I actually think that would be really, really cool if this had kind of been hauled out of the mud. But at the same time, like the people in charge are completely corrupt. We know that they kicked the Tengu out, okay? We know that. Winds of Change will go into that a bit as we go forward. I'm not going to spoil anything, but we'll go into that whole aspect of the story as we go forward. So that does happen. So come Guild Wars 2, when we come back to Cantha, there will be some interesting questions there about what it's going to be like here, but I'd like to see that it actually prospered, particularly considering that the Jade Wind will have now died away, and now that we can swim in Guild Wars 2, and now that we can essentially climb stuff, like you can have like cities and stuff that are vertical. Like I imagine the Pale Tree it's kind of, if you look at the videos, I mean it could change when you actually get in game. By the time they release it, it could have changed, but it looks like it's very vertical, right? I really like the idea that once we come to Guild Wars 2 and we come back to factions, it'll have some interesting things to offer us, because we can now swim in the Jade Sea, and now we can climb the trees of the Echo Vowed Forest, and they'll be nice and distinct. And then you have this. I am quite excited about it, how it will have changed. But yeah, do remember that whole Tengu thing. And yeah, as you are watching this, as we're seeing what the Ministry of Fury have to say, so try and think of how things might be affected come Guild Wars 2, because I mean that's what Guild Wars Beyond's about. But I don't know how good Winds of Change really is at sort of highlighting how things are going to be different come Guild Wars 2. I don't think it can be that good, really, because I don't think that ArenaNet themselves know 100% what the lore is going to be for their first expansion or their second expansion or whatever. So it's not as clear as like with the War in Kryta, where it's like, look, this is how the Seraph were formed, and you know, it's a really big thing. There's no massive links like that here with the Winds of Change. On this topic, though, actually, this is something I said in the original commentary of the last... Will you please just die? Is there a monk somewhere? Is somebody healing him from down in that pit? Yeah, something I said in the original commentary for the last episode before I had to wipe it, was I keep coming back and editing these videos, and I'm like slagging off Winds of Change like quite a lot. I don't mean... Why is that monk all the way down there? For God's sake. Come on, just die. Yeah, I keep slagging it off and not putting it in a very good light. I do actually really like Winds of Change, and it does have a lot to offer us. For example, there's some really cool stuff that's going to be coming along, particularly with Part 1. The other thing I said as well in the original commentary was, when I first played this, I might have mentioned this before on the channel vaguely, when I first played this, it came out in like one night, and me and Magical Mike were on it straight away, right? This first chapter, on that first night, we were pretty much there as soon as the content came out. We were both there in Vent, and we decided, right, we're going to play it. We pretty much did like an all-nighter, just playing through Winds of Change. It was fantastic fun. It was really, really good. We were going through it. You know, it had its flaws, and I kind of woke up the next morning, and I was like, oh, okay, I would have liked it if it did this, or if it did this. But at the time, it was a lot of fun, and it really, really was quite cool. In fact, I think me and him, we did it quite fast. I would say we were at least in the first 100 people to have finished this content. I really would. I think he'd probably agree as well. But yeah, so we played through, that's kind of how we first played through it, and where we did it all at once. It was really interesting, some stuff that came up playing through it that first time, on that first night. That Winds of Change kind of makes you feel that none of the other chapters of Guild Wars have ever done, campaigns or parts of Guild Wars 1. They really make you start to question like the ethics of what you, the character, are. I mean, look at what you've done in the game, right? You've defeated a god, you've done all this stuff, but what is the gameplay, right? And I've said this before. I've said it's wading through fudge, but it's pretty much just running around fighting things, right? Yeah, I mean, this is what we're doing right now. We're just slaughtering stuff, and it does go in some interesting directions about what we're actually doing. We're just a character that slaughters stuff constantly, and it will make you question things. So anyway, my point is, I was editing the past few videos and thinking to myself, oh damn, look, I'm really not making Winds of Change look amazing. It does have some cool stuff going for it, definitely does, and that's one of those. We'll see it as we go through. Yay, monstrous eye. This is something quite nice about Winds of Change, by the way. You get loads of these monstrous eyes and fangs and stuff. You'll have a lot by the time you finished. Anyway, are we done? No, we've got one more. This video is going to be a long one. There we go. Oh man, this is good, because when I started Winds of Change, I had loads of things to say, but I never had time to say it all. Yeah, the other thing I mentioned in the original commentary for that last episode was, I actually said it at the end there as well, didn't I, when I was finishing up, but how I think we're going to do Winds of Change, I think would be a good idea, is every episode, no matter how long the quest is at all, no matter how long it is, we're just going to complete a quest every single episode, because I've had a few people, as I've been playing through this, like over the time, quite a few people have said, I've been like, oh, how long do you remember when I first started? I used to comment all the time. I was like, hey, how long do you like the videos? And I didn't really have any idea. You know, we started off with 10 minutes and stuff, and then I kind of settled on 20 minutes, give or take 5 minutes, unless it was like a special episode and it would be like 30. Well, I used to ask that a lot, and well, the one thing most people said was that they didn't really care about the length, just as long as it felt like we'd completed something as we played through, which is cool, which I agree with. So because of that, I reckon, yeah, let's just complete a quest every episode, so we've got that kind of sense of completion, and hopefully this also means there won't be any of those like really lazy random cuts in the middle of episodes where I split stuff, because that's the other thing I get people saying. They're like, oh, I hate it when it just randomly ends. Sometimes it's good though, it comes up with like a good little cliffhanger. I love doing that sometimes. Anyway, there we go, that's that. Let's read out Zayre's stuff, shall we? He says, when the afflicted are gone, was that it really? Yeah, he said, look around you. Does this place look like a fitting home for any but those who have nothing left? Well, yeah, I can agree it doesn't. Then he says, when the afflicted are gone, we can begin to rebuild. We can not only replace what was lost, but build a new and better world. And the question is, will they get to that in Guild Wars 2? Perhaps we can bring hope back to these people. I fear it's a thing they've long since forgotten. I think we found the last of them. Let's provide them with a swift exit from this world. That was us that said that. I feel like I should maybe start voicing Tom Bluewood or something. Ooh, who knows? I don't know. So, yeah, there you go, guys. This is this episode. There was something else I was in the middle. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about pre-orders. Also, thank you very much to all of you. I went on my kind of big boring speech about the Guild Wars 2 videos I'm going to be doing. I have come to a conclusion, actually, but maybe we'll talk about that next episode. I'll tell you guys kind of what I want to do with the channel there. Yeah, let me know what you think about the pre-orders and stuff. I'm almost guaranteed that someone's going to complain about the price of it, because it is quite steep. It costs a lot. I've seen people already mention, though, actually, yes, it costs a lot, but do remember this is a subscription fee free game, so does it get away with it because of that? I'm not sure it does, really. I mean, I've talked extensively about how they don't need to have a subscription fee, so I don't think they should fall back on that excuse. But hey, it's only for the collector's edition. It's a frivolous thing for you to buy, and hey, the more expensive it is, the more special you'll feel with those unique items in game when you get them. So I don't know, but I will probably buy it in the end. But yeah, let me know what you think about that, guys. Very exciting times. The game could be out soon enough. Who knows? They've released this and not done a release date, though. I remember people bitching about Star Wars doing that. But yeah, interesting that. So yeah, Zayre says, that did it. The Undercity's been cleansed of the plague, and our task here is almost at an end. Knowing that people can safely walk these streets brings me a certain peace of mind. Our deeds can't bring back what I've lost, but maybe they can keep someone else from experiencing what I went through. Alright, so yeah, we're going to learn about Zayre. A lot of the dialogue's pretty crap and filler, but he does have a story. So we will be seeing that next episode. Also, going to start showing you guys those little dialogue things. This one started off with the main website, of course, but next episode we'll probably start looking at some of the hidden dialogues, or at least one of them. Yeah, guys, nice catching up. Should I start adding that to my outro? I don't know. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I guess I will see you tomorrow. See you later.